Hey, welcome. Come on in. How you doing, duckling? Welcome back to another Out of Office with your work mom, Arlyne. And
Your work on Jose. Nice to see you
hey,
again.
nice to see you again. We're always happy to see you. Thought we would take a few minutes to chat today about something that is near and dear to anybody who's ever started their first job or any job, to be honest. Um, and it's really around the importance of asking questions, especially when you are new on the scene. Jose, thoughts about that in terms of kind of getting your bearings? Maybe
You
that's
know,
a
I
good.
think I thought about that, and it was like I still remember like your first day on the job, and it's almost like your first day of high school and your first day of college if you went to college, or you have those nerves, and what can you do to get ahead of those nerves? And I always get nervous on that first day, but if you prepare yourself, there's nothing to be nervous about. So it's just it comes and flows naturally after that.
Yeah, I think let's get into it. So I think when I think about really kind of the first few days of any job, whether I am starting a new job myself or starting a new client, or even actually being the manager of somebody who's starting new, we try to do as much as we can to prepare the person.
Hmm.
And as somebody who is new to an environment, sometimes you get a whole host of like links and materials and things to read or whatever. But when you kind of sift through it, sometimes you still have questions. And I think that's really kind of the heart, I think, of what we should get into today is really like, what do we do in those situations where it's like you've read all the materials that they gave you, you have attended all of the orientation sessions and done all the quote unquote training, but then you still have questions. Now what?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, I mean, I think when I like to talk to young talent that's coming in, I always remind them at any given point when I have a conversation, especially in that first few weeks, it's like, hey, it's really important that you feel like you're not imposing when you do have the questions, because that is a natural part of really kind of starting anything new, job or otherwise. And I think most people, when they are pretty excited to start something new, that they will do the homework, right? And they'll do all the assigned reading and they'll do all the assigned tasks, that the checklists, if you will, that they give you, whatever environment, whether it be working your first retail job or working your first office job or whatever. But we also know that sometimes companies and organizations, they don't get it right because there's just some things that it doesn't matter. You can't write it in a manual. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
just, yeah. So, um, so that being said, I think one of the things that I like to remind folks is, first of all, find a buddy. Like, they're usually pretty good about assigning or telling you who your contacts are. But sometimes you meet somebody along the way and you become fast friends with them, even if it's just work friends. And sometimes being able to ask that person
Hmm.
is really kind of a good cheat, if you will, in terms of trying to find information. Don't you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. To me, the formula for success lies in getting to know as many people as possible. I don't care. You start off with the security guard at the front desk, and you coming in, get to know them. They know the secrets. They know how everything moves around the area, right? Get to know the secretaries, or the people that are, at the cafeteria or the store. Start asking a lot of questions, and you'll realize that you're going to get a lot of information that's going to help feed kind of the background story and get you prepared for that first day, or to prepare you for the path through the first set of days. For me, it all really starts on that first day, though. I consider the first day the most important because the saying, first impressions, you only get one chance at first impressions.
Yeah.
So the night before, I prepare my clothes. I try to get a good night's sleep. I prepare my intro, so I kind of I've practiced it a few times. So now when I walk in the door and I actually meet somebody, I'm not stuttering through it as much as possible. You want to minimize the possibility of a mistake by preparing in advance. So it kind of removes that anxiety away from you. You're still going to have anxiety. We're all human,
Mm.
but knowing that you've prepared at least that much in advance, if you wake up late or something happens on the way to the office that first day, it won't bother you as much because you've mentally prepared for every possibility that could happen. So
Yeah, I like what you said about like preparing your like clothes and like getting a good night's sleep and really kind of doing things that you know that you're in control of. And let's be honest about this. I mean, who doesn't like shopping a little bit for, for new clothes, new digs, whatever, whatever you need to do to treat yourself a little bit because hey, you got a new gig, you got a new job, so why not? You might as well like use that as an opportunity to, to get that outfit that you want or to kind of get your nails done or, go and do something that is really fun before you start this next big adventure.
yeah.
So I think that is a really great like, and even if you don't do that, right? Even if it's just hanging out with your people, right? Hanging out with your dog, hanging out with your friends or whatever, things to kind of get you a little bit relaxed because sometimes it is pretty nerve wracking when you start something new. And especially if you don't know anybody. That also seems to be a primary driver where people don't ask questions is because they might be a little shy or might be a little timid. And so to that end, I would say, find a way, if you find a way to really kind of step outside of your comfort zone and
Yeah.
ask the questions that will serve you well, not only because you get to know people and people you'll be surprised. People want to help you. They'll
Hmm.
really want to point you in the right direction. And what's not okay is actually going days or weeks and not getting the right answer because that will wind up biting you in the butt a little bit longer down the road if you let it fester.
I just got goosebumps thinking of the possibilities of the things that can go wrong if you let it fester.
Yeah,
So, and
yeah,
to add to that point, asking questions is really important, but it's not just any questions. You got to make sure that you show that you're thinking about what's being given to you. So, if you're learning, let's say, a brand new application or system, ask questions about processes and show that you're thinking critically about exactly what you're being taught. So then it's not just like, what did you just show me? No, it's how does this integrate into the work that I'm supposed to be doing? And is there, if I did this, would it change this outcome or would it make it faster? Right. And if you think about it and you go, well, those first couple of days, you're going to meet your supervisor and you need to make sure one, you need to know what your responsibilities are going to be. And, you need to know who you're going to be working with. And most important, what the expectations are for the long term. What is your boss who thought about you and hired you? What do they see for you in your future? And you want to make sure that you're aligned with that and you're okay with that growth path that they set for you, and that you're going to now mentally prepare yourself for that journey.
yeah. I think that is really spot on because I think in our one of our previous videos we talked about, hey, it's really important for you to realize and recognize that you're here for a reason. And
Mhm.
if your team or your company or your organization didn't feel like you were the right person to be here, then you wouldn't. And so part of their preparation for you coming on board is really understanding that there's a learning curve in terms of really understanding who the players are, what your job is, how to kind of really acclimate into that. And so, you know, they will do their best. They should be doing their best to kind of make that an easy um, transition for you. But sometimes they don't always get it right. Sometimes it's not as thorough as it needs to be. So, this becomes your part in terms of being able to step into that, because there's the other thing that I would caution is that there is a balance. You can only play the new card, but for so long. And once there's a certain amount of time that has passed, and you haven't asked the questions, or you haven't um, been resourceful or assertive in terms of trying to really kind of step into your new role in a more timely manner. And when I say timely, a few weeks is pretty reasonable. Then there's a little bit of gray area there, in where the perception could be that it's like, oh, you're either too timid or you're not assertive enough, because there are some basic fundamental things that you should have been comfortable enough trying to seek answers to. And so there's a balance there, and I caution that it's just don't sit and don't let things that are unanswered fester too long, because the further you get into the role, the more assignments and the more tasks and the more expectations will come with that. So you might as well get all the basic stuff taken care of up front as soon as you can, while you can still be considered the new person, right? So,
And what I do to supplement that is I think about it like after you go home on those first couple of days or first couple of weeks, every single day, recap what you did. Think about it and go, how is this part of the learning process? What did I learn today? Does it, are there questions that I need to ask? And be thoughtful about it and come in the next day going, yesterday we learned this and I was really intrigued by that, but I thought of these following questions. And maybe, is there a better way to do this? Has this been explored in the past? And it makes you better prepared for that next day than you ever were, right? And you
yeah.
have to think about it and you go, well, Jose, well, what if I'm not that much of an extrovert? What if I'm not good at public speaking, or I don't want to take that moment to speak up? I would say this is not the moment to be an introvert. You need to build up the courage and go, okay, well, let's go out there today. And I know it's taxing and it's going to drain your energy and it's not the way you probably function on a day to day. But like I said earlier, you only get one chance to make those first impressions, and you're meeting people for those first few weeks. Almost every single day, you're going to be meeting someone new. So make sure you put your best foot forward at all times.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. Okay, so we are winding down. I think we've done a pretty good job in terms of really kind of stressing the importance of asking questions. What do you think? What do you think our big takeaways are here, Unc?
Yeah. So you made it through the first couple of days. Congratulations. Or you're preparing for those first couple of days. Let's give you those tips. Let's wrap it up for you. New jobs are extremely important for you to, and it's going to go a long way to make that impression. So think about that. Be very intentional about what the things that you do. Prepare mentally the day before you come in, and get ready to meet new people and the right. Make sure you have the right questions. That's really important. Meet your new team members and talk with your supervisor about your expectations and responsibilities and what your role is going to be on the team. Make friends with the new buddy, and so you can ask for directions or guidance when you get lost and when you have moments of like self-doubt. Show that you're thinking critically. That's really important. It's going to instantly show value to your new boss or your new team members. They're going to be like, wow, this person is actually really thinking about this. And take plenty of notes and review them afterwards. The one thing that will get any teacher or any person that's training you upset is retraining you on something they've already trained you on before. So make sure that you take enough notes, you review your notes, and that they're exhaustive, and that you're being very thorough.
Yeah. Love those. Love those. All right, ducklings, we are pretty much at time. So, last few thoughts. Remember, employers are trying. They really, really are trying, in many respects to get it right, but they don't always get it right. So, it's an opportunity for you to shine on day one, and really kind of ask those questions. And also, too, while you do have questions, make sure that you do try to exhaust, all of the resources that they did provide to you, to at least try to find the questions. And if you get stuck, it really does present an opportunity to really kind of open the door for you and for even further conversation. And, one of the things that I love that you said, Jose, in terms of finding a buddy, I mean, those go-tos are going to be your gold, not only on day one and week one, but probably for the rest of your time with that company or that team. And so finding those buddies, finding those go-tos are are really going to serve you well. And, and before long, you're not even going to be the newbie anymore, and you might be somebody's buddy. So that being said, we love that you've spent a few minutes with us, Duckling. So now, more importantly, go live your life. Thanks. And we will see you on the next one.